West and across the world online. This is Highland Radio with Paul McDevitt.
Seven minutes after 8 o'clock on a Monday night, start of the week, and good to have you in with us. It's Paul McDevitt as always with the Monday night sessions right through until 10 p.m. tonight. As always, you're more than welcome to get in touch on 086 60 25,000. That's for your text and your WhatsApp. We'd love to hear from you. We'll be streaming this live on our social media pages, Facebook, and it'll be out on YouTube sometime too, won't it? Sometime. So on the programme tonight we'll be joined very shortly by local band Boy M5, and Strabane singer-songwriter Brian Hasson's just released a new album, and he'll be on after 9 to tell us all about that. And coming up after the first piece of music we have Joe Gibson, and what a busy weekend it's been for him and everyone involved in the Fleadh. So stay tuned for that. 086 60 25,000. Supporting Irish music as we do, and we couldn't support it any better than this lady. This song is just taking all the radio stations by storm. It's a brand new one from Maria McCormick, The Girl with Good Intentions, on Highland Radio.
Other's eyes, but that ain't me. No, that ain't me. We could tell each other lies, but on a good disguise. And when the party's over, disappear into the night. But that ain't me. No, that ain't me.
The curtain from Maria McCormick. I'd say Maria was a special guest with us a couple of weeks back, and we are looking forward to the album. Right, to our first guest we go, and we just say what a busy weekend. Joe Gibson.
How you doing, Paul?
I'm doing good. Come here, the Fleadh, very big success.
I believe so. The reports I'm hearing, there was lots of hustle and bustle about the town at different various points throughout the weekend. I mean, it was the county Fleadh. It's a smaller event. It's a
Yes.
big town, but if you knew where to be, and I think it really turned out very, very well. Considering it
Any
was,
reports that I heard or any videos that I've seen, it looked brilliant. And the
Aye.
weather healthy.
the weather. Oh, that made it.
That's the big thing, wasn't it?
The weather really made it because
Aye.
it did, people were out playing in the streets because they wanted to play in the streets.
Of
You know?
course, of course.
And then that just has its own, organic feel, and it just
Aye.
rose.
And was there a sigh of relief last night when you that's it done or
About 7 o'clock last night when I parked up the van
aye.
and handed down the road to Sister Sarah's, the closing session, I'll tell you there was some sigh of relief, followed by a big gulp.
A lot of pressure too, Joe. In fairness, like because you don't know what way it's going to go or what way. I know you had a committee and all, and
What a brilliant committee.
Jean was here, and
Yeah. The committee just have to say, like, I'll be texting them today, and I said I have to work on my speech, because like it was an idea to bring the Fleadh to Letterkenny. It was a thought, and it was an undertaking, but each person really just shone in their own department and took control. Like the competitions ran smoothly,
yes,
and I was barely there. I booked the ATU. I did a lot. We organised, we
No, I
planned
know,
for
I
it,
know,
but
I know.
I was away off doing sessions, and then the youth sessions were being run by a youth officer, Darius, and Shannon and Saoirse were just doing excellent work throughout the weekend, and they all just took it and went and did it. And there was nobody was texting me saying there was a problem. If a problem happened, they were solving them on their own, and
Okay.
it was just like, in terms of that, there was my dream team. Like, they just all teamed together at the right time. So top committee.
that's good. That's good. So the big Fleadh then, what's the plan?
That's
Or do you
the
just
point.
do you basically just say, listen, we'll take a couple of weeks here now, and then we'll take a good breath of ourselves?
Well, we've expressed an interest to bring the All Ireland back to Letterkenny. And I think after this weekend, like, this is just the county Fleadh.
Yes.
I think we showed this weekend that we're well capable here of running events. And Letterkenny is well capable of hosting events such as the All Ireland. So we've expressed it and let people know, and the people that need to know, that Letterkenny is ready. But it will take time, and there is a process, and it will be a few years. So in the meantime, we're thinking along the lines. We don't want to talk about Fleadhs more Fleadhs, but
No, I know.
but in the meantime,
As you said earlier, you're flat out.
yeah, exactly. we'll consider, like, maybe, expanding on the elements of the Fleadh. In other festivals throughout the town, maybe have another county, potentially the provincial one, which is a bigger one, but not as
Yeah.
big as the main one.
Okay.
Because there's a few developments that are taking place in Letterkenny, and we'd like all that to be lined up. When they do that Market Square and turn into a bandstand, and
Yeah.
when, like, a lot of those elements, if they all come together at the right time, and then the Fleadh lands, it'll be a spectacular thing.
Okay. Is it a strict procedure to get the
Very strict. There's
the All
rules.
Ireland?
So they basically, I think, as far as I know, there's about 22 towns in Ireland looking for it at the minute. Now there's only so many towns that'll would be able to get it, but because it takes quite a lot. But after a Fleadh is hosted, the Ard Collier meets and they have a vote on where the Fleadh will go. And generally speaking, if a town has a successful Fleadh, all the organisation has been done, so it's easy just to duplicate it one more year in one town to give that organisation a bit more of the benefit, because there's less, but not that there's not much less, but so typically if you do get it one year, you get it another year.
Very good.
So but that said, there's always a vote at the end or after the Fleadh to decide where it'll be the following year. So you have to get those people to vote for you.
Right, and it takes a year. They give you a year notice, like, basically.
Well, you'll know then at the start of September if you've been awarded the Fleadh. So then you have it's all gold from that point on, and that's not a long
From
time.
there until May, say, or when would you be having it?
The Fleadh takes place in the middle of August.
Middle of August.
So,
Okay,
but
right.
to run an event of that size, it's
Well,
not an
I'm
easy
sure
feat.
you can see, because the workload has been done to creating this one.
Yeah.
You know
Oh,
what I mean? So-
definitely. And it's all volunteer basis, like,
Of course,
for everyone.
it is.
So,
and
like,
well
you're-
done to everyone,
Aye,
and,
like-
and yourselves, because it's amazing that you're bringing this to the town and you're bringing it to the northwest. Not just the town, as I say, the northwest. People are coming in from near and far, and it's
That was
great.
I bumped into an American couple on Sunday,
Mm-hmm.
and they're just holidaying. They went to Westport, and they've come up the north. They said they'd done the Ring of Kerry. They wanted to see something different in Ireland. They happened to stop in Letterkenny for a couple of nights, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. They were only going to stay one night. They discovered the Fleadh was on, and they had a ball of a time, and they're telling their friends back home
See, that's
about this. I mean, they never heard of the concept of a Fleadh.
No, they wouldn't know.
And they didn't, like, and to see the music in that way. So that's just one example of one.
We had
couple.
requests, just in the Saturday program, every 3 or 4 requests from people that were heading up to the Fleadh, and I thought that's brilliant, that's great. So, but as I say, well done. You were in and out of different bars. We have a couple of wee snippets here, and who's this? That's in Dillon's, was it?
Oh yeah, show me that. That's a session that we had at 12:30 in the Florence Cafe just beside AAB. It was a lovely thing because people were just having their morning coffee, and it was a timber cafe, floors wooden, so acoustically beautiful sound. That's actually, I think it's Seamus Gibson's in there in the fiddle. Aye, Seamus Gibson, Katrina Lagan, Sean O'Donnell, and Brian Stafford.
We'll have a wee listen. Brilliant, well done. That was good. See the video. I'm playing this off the video, and it's. Did you do a lot of videoing yourself?
I could, whenever I could, I pulled out the phone just to capture a wee bit. But no, we had a guy, Tommy Comey, came in. Tommy. Yeah. He came in and he followed the Fleadh around, and he kind of followed the session train. He did a lot of the camera work. So we're going to release a little 20-minute episode of like a lesser spotted Ulster type thing.
Oh yes, very good.
They get you down to do a bit of presenting, and as if during the weekend,
Aye, that's all right. Just get your people to talk to my.
Right.
No, it's of course it's brilliant, and as I say, well done indeed. You'll take a well-deserved break now. I have no doubt. Rest, but then you're flat out down the weekend again, aren't you?
I'm going away now for a couple of days just to chill out, and there's already people are talking about projects, and there's an interesting thing that was kind of been batted about by a lot of things. What I'd really like to see is for like an 8-week period of the summer to really go for it and animate the streets of Letterkenny. That's like, I think what we're doing is we're showing what we can do. We're showing people how much it costs, and if you divide that between a lot of the businesses throughout the town, it's not an awful lot of money to actually just make something happen on the streets. Not go mad and do a big festival, just to actually make sure that there's music happening, or different. Doesn't have to be just music, but So these are the future projects that have already started.
How did the video upload your competition you had going?
It went great. There are 3 winners that I don't know who they are.
I'm not putting you in the spot. It's okay. Obviously,
Shannon
it's not me, because I put in 15 videos.
I know. No, it wasn't you. No, no. The thing was, you see, I was so proud. I had been at a session on the Sunday, and I asked Darius to look after the youth session, and then I was worrying about this Share the Tune competition, because I had seen some messages people weren't getting the things in, and I thought, oh no, because I hadn't been looking on Facebook, and I thought maybe nobody's entered. So I was actually going to go out and maybe delay the competition, but I landed out too late, and then I walked in, and Darius, this young fella, he's up and he was making a speech, and I didn't think that he would take control of the room in the way that he did. And then Shannon, who quite shy but very competent girl, all of a sudden she stood up and she announced the winners, and the amount of the 2,500 views on the winning video, and I hadn't seen it. But this was what I mean, all taken care of, done, dusted, not a worry on for me at all, and to see how professionally they done it, I was like,
well done,
really proud of that.
That's good, and the thing about it, that's the youth again too.
Exactly, it's a youth running things for youth.
Brilliant, it's well done. Congratulations to them. And congratulations to the winner. I'm sure the winner knows by now. They won €300, the top prize.
€300.
I thought it was a brilliant idea.
But it was great too, because it showed, it got people to show what was happening. So if you were actually about the streets, you could have looked.
Well, if one video was shown 2,500 times, where's that not going to? Do you know what I mean? Spreading out. So well done. Listen, come here. I'm not going to hold you up anymore. Delighted to have you up, and delighted that we could cover it. And it's just great to get live music back again.
Definitely.
Listen, Joe, the best of luck.
Thanks very much.
Thank you.
I'll see you later.
Hey, I'm home. Honey? Hi, love.
Hi, love.
I just got in. Where are you?
minutes after 8 o'clock. Of course, Gavin James and Coming Home, what a year it's been for him, and as always, releasing great music. Talking about great music, we welcome and we say hello to our second studio guest, I beg your pardon, this evening, and it's a band called Boy M5, and it's Kyle O'Neill and his band. Kyle, hello to you first.
How are you getting on?
I'm getting on good. Come on a wee bit closer to that there, just. Oh, wait, am I right there? How's that? No, we're not. We must be off, Joe, are we? Hi, try that. No, I don't know. We're off. There we go.
Hello. That's us
it.
now.
Sorry about that, Kyle. Listen, first of all, you're very welcome. There's three of you here tonight, and going to perform all original, is it?
All originals, yeah.
Right, we've got Paul Mooney, who was up with us a few weeks ago. Paul, hello to you.
How's it going?
Aaron McCallion, Derryman, you're welcome too.
Thank you.
Good man, you got across the border all right.
We managed to smuggle them across this evening.
So quickly, tell us a bit about Boy M5.
So Boy M5 is a project I started about 2 years ago, 3 years ago, however long lockdown is ago
Okay.
now at this stage. It's hard to remember. Yeah, just there's nothing else happening. Had to stop working for a while and decided to start the project, which I named Boy M5.
Okay, and what came out of that? What we see
So
now?
I
Three-
originally started just working on production and singles and everything from home, seeing how much of it I could do from a bedroom in my house. That went on to releasing those singles, building a bigger studio, and again trying to do as much of it myself as possible.
built a studio in your own place.
Yes.
And you're recording at your own place.
Yep.
So the two band members that we have here,
Yes.
they added onto the project.
They
then?
were, yeah.
Very good. So starting off, as long are you kind of at music?
Since a very young age.
Okay.
When I was about 10 or 11, my best friend and I found a guitar in his attic,
Aye.
and we decided to mess about with it for a while. And he eventually told me to take it home because he saw something in me, I suppose.
Very good. Very good.
So he told me to take it home, and I learned it well enough that I could go to my parents and show them, and they agreed I could have my own guitar. And that was when that all started.
And did you take lessons in guitar?
No, just YouTube was king at that point.
Brilliant, self-taught. And what were you basing yourself on? What artists were you basing yourself on at that time?
I was always a big fan of Irish music. I'm mainly a songwriter. That's always been my thing. Like even as a kid, I was writing poems and stuff. So lyrics and stuff to me are big. So artists like Glenn Hansard, Lisa Hannigan, more recently Dermot Kennedy, Orla Gartland, people like that.
Very good, very good. Well, I'll tell you what, we're going to talk more, but we're going to go for our first piece of music,
Yep.
which is,
This is Roar by the Shore. It's the new single that came out on the 22nd of April.
and it's available
Everywhere. Wherever
Everywhere.
you get your music.
wherever you
I've
get
made sure of that.
Good man. Right, whenever you're ready, lads, in your own time.
Well, I don't know where we should go while the snow is over our heads. I don't care what you wear, as long as you're there with me instead. There with me instead. So let the rain pour, we can move indoors, rock the world behind these four walls. So let the rain pour, we can move indoors, we can give a roar by the shore. 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 Going through the town, roll the windows down, roll to the crowd, hey, where do we go? By the hull of our ship, can't wait to sip as the scout drifts on our cabin home. So let the rain pour, we can move indoors, rock the world behind these four walls. So let the rain pour, we can move indoors, we can get robbed by the shore. 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 You can be loud without making a sound. I'm gonna teach you how to roar. You can be loud without making a sound. I'm gonna teach you how to roar. Keep your feet on the ground, your head in the clouds. I'm gonna teach you how to roar. So let the rainbow, we can move indoors. We can get roared by the shore. Roared by the shore. Roared by the shore. Roared by the shore. Roared by the shore.
Well done. Brilliant.
Thank you.
Absolutely brilliant. That is a brand new single, and as I say, it's available wherever you get your music, and it's by M5. I love the. There's a kind of. I get a kind of a villagers thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, villagers fan.
That's a very big compliment.
Is it? Aye, well, I get. You've released singles. You haven't released albums.
I haven't released albums.
Uh-huh.
There may be an album down the line, but
You
at
know,
the minute,
You're the kind of artist that I would look forward to an album.
Yeah.
I would say that, because
you better follow me on all the socials and keep an eye then.
I definitely will, without a shadow of a doubt. Amazing tune and amazing song. To write a song like that, does it? Do you? What's your process? Do you set out with the lyrics first? Do you set out with the music first? So what way do you work that?
That's a very old one. That song.
Uh-huh.
So that song I wrote about 8 or 10 years ago now.
Okay.
It was actually I was on my way to play Dunlow Festival,
Aye.
and I had shown up, and basically the 3 or 4 acts before me hadn't shown up.
Okay.
And they decided they were going to shut down the festival, and I got there and I was maybe 18 or 20, just wanted to play, didn't care, whatever. So I said to the people, they were ripping down everything off the stage, and I said to them, look, where can I play? I want to play somewhere, just tell me where. Don't care if it's a corner in a room, I'll
Yeah.
play anywhere. And they told me there was another festival on down the road, and for the life of me I can't remember the name of the village, but
Right.
it was called Roar by the Shore Festival.
Yeah.
So made a beeline for there,
Good man.
and beautiful summer's day, but about 2 minutes before the festival was due to start, the skies opened. And I've never seen a village come so quickly together, and all the villagers just grabbing speakers, grabbing mic stands, grabbing everything off the stage outside, and just running for the local community centre.
And
So
it
that
wo-
was
and it-
where the line came from.
It worked.
Yeah, it was really good.
Now that song, that new song has been playlisted by the BBC and
BBC,
RTE?
RTE, yeah. I have ITV are actually looking at it at the minute for one of their shows. I don't know how much I'm allowed to say, but
no, that's brilliant. How does that come about? Do you know how you say someone listening in here now thinks, God, I wouldn't mind getting my music played in BBC or whatever. Of course, everybody does, but
send
how-
as many emails as you can physically send to anyone.
bombard them.
Bombard them. Just as many emails as you get out. If you get out 1,000 emails, you might get 1 or 2 positives out of that, and you
course.
just have to plug like that.
Of course, and don't give up, like.
Don't give up.
Kyle, you have. Do you look after your own kind of all that PR side of things?
Yes.
You don't have anybody
No,
in there.
I look after all of that.
Good man, good man. So gigging wise, what's coming up?
We just actually got past. We played the Nerve Centre in Derry there a couple of weeks ago now, on the 22nd of April. The same day that Roar by the Shore came out, we were playing 10 Festival in the Nerve Centre. And that was actually our first gig together.
How'd that go?
Of really well. I had been given that gig about a month before, and I rang the 2 lads and went, look, I need a band. So we got together about
Oh,
1
so
month before that gig.
You got the gig and you said, you know, I must get a band.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
I suppose it's
Now, Paul here I've known for years.
Uh-huh.
We go way back, and he knew most of the songs anyway, so that was handy. But Aaron was a new addition, and we couldn't have got luckier with Aaron.
That's good.
We were worried at the start. We thought we've made friends with Aaron and talked to him and said, "Are you into it?" And me and him spent a day talking about music. And as I was dropping him home that day, we were just talking about this on the way down. I turned to him and I went, "Aaron, I don't actually know if you can play drums yet. I haven't seen you play."
This boy could be just
Yeah, we were
tell
kinda-
me play the
yeah,
drums.
so we were panicking, and then the first time we heard him play, we knew we were onto something. And we
Very
just,
good.
We worked really well together, I think.
Well, you know, your harmonies are all blended and lovely there too. There's just something magical about that song. There's something grabs you. You know, it's different from. It's not the norm.
Yeah.
If you know what I'm saying.
Well,
And I mean that.
that's
in
always
a
the aim.
positive way. Right. We'll go. Do you need to tune up or anything? Are you good to
I
go?
can tell you in a sec.
Oh, yeah. I'll tell you what we'll do. We will take an ad break. And if you just tuned in, it's a Monday night session streaming live here as always on our social media platforms, and you're delighted to be with us. Get in touch if you want, or just sit back and relax. It's Boy M5 and Kyle O'Neill and Paul Mooney and Aaron McKinnon here, and it's an amazing sound. We'll be back after this break. Don't go away. The various festivals around the country, and it pops up all the time. But we have to get it back again. Joe Dex is with me tonight here, standing in for Jimmy, and we're talking about the Swell Festival. We'll have to get young Muldowney on the ball again and get him out and get us back, because what we missed about that was we had the weird and wonderful in it. And everybody, I've never seen a place where people is in good spirits. I don't know what it was, maybe it was the air, but they were in great form. But anyway, enough of that. We're joined, as I say, Boy M5. And this is, what song are you going to do now, Kyle?
I'm going to play a song called Hide and Seek. It's not released yet, but it's going to be out in the summer, so this is a nice little preview for you.
Brilliant. When you're ready.
You love to look and you look for love, but none of them would give it no. They never say the words you needed them to say. You never ask or want to know. Tired waiting for them to show, but before you give up on life and drift away, just look for me. As if we're playing hide and seek, 'cause darling, you're the only light I see. You're an artist and a masterpiece. You're the artist, but I paint you a great work of art. If you thought that it would win me your heart, there's some beats like a march at the front light of the vanguard. For you know, there's no clouds up ahead, and the stars, they're on fire for the night. With the armor to shield you, and I'll be coming home soon. Breathe on me, I'll be the air you need. Don't panic, love, keep your eyes on me. Take my hand and I'll anchor you to stay. Pray for me and I'll fight my fears. I'll dry yours and I'll back my tears. To all our demons we'll say, not today. Just look for me, as if we're playing hide and seek. 'Cause darling, you're the only light I see. You're an artist and a masterpiece. You're the artist, but I paint you a great work of art. If you thought that it would win me your heart, there's some beats like a march at the front line of the vanguard. For you know, there's no clouds up ahead, and the stars, they're on fire for the night. With the armor to shield you, and I'll be coming home for 3, 2, 1. Ready or not, 'cause here I come. Just look for me, as if we're playing hide and seek. 'Cause darling, you're the only light I see. You're an artist and a masterpiece. You're the artist, but I paint you a great work of art. If you thought that it would win me your heart, there's some beats like a march at the front light of the vanguard. For you know, there's no clouds up ahead, and the stars, they're on fire for the night. With the armor to shield you, and I'll be coming home soon.
Amazing.
Thank you very much.
Absolutely amazing. Really, really is. You know, I'd love to hear the finished, you know, the finished production. Yeah, indeed.
It's coming soon, I promise.
Really look forward to it. Really, really do. Boy, M5. What's the story behind that?
The name.
Yeah.
So, believe it or not, I get asked this all the time. You know, you wouldn't think it was a cryptic name or anything.
No.
It's a very cryptic hat tip to a hero of mine, Glenn Hansard. I heard an interview once where he was talking about his song Falling Slowly, and how he came up with that, and that's my favourite song in the world. And he said that every night going to bed he would listen to the shipping forecast, to the weather forecast for the people out in the boats, and every weather station is based on a buoy, and every night buoy M5 would be falling slowly.
Ah, very good.
So it was just a cryptic little hat tip to
Good story.
my hero and my favourite song.
Ah, very good, very good. Have you ever accompanied them, supported them, played?
No, that is a dream of mine.
Uh-huh.
I think I'd cry if I got that call.
You know, them things, well, the emails, get the emails
Yeah,
out. Without a doubt.
yeah.
And there's no reason. The only reason he mightn't do it is because the fact that there's a possibility he might upstage it. You know what I mean? And a lot of
I
people,
definitely don't think that
a
will
lot of
happen.
people are wary about who they get the support. You know, you have to watch. Like, I wouldn't. I don't think it'll be long before you're headlining your own shows, without a doubt. You're playing in the party in the park.
We are.
In the town here,
We
on
are.
the 24th.
Yes, and very much looking forward to it.
Where's that be held?
That's in the town park in Burnham-Glancy Park.
Oh, very good. Has that been held before? Is this a new event?
No, that's been held. I think it's been postponed because of COVID.
Ah, right.
But
You forget about all these
oh,
things.
it's mad. It's
You know?
absolutely mad.
It's
But
mad.
no, it was definitely. This has been going since we were teenagers, for sure.
Oh, is it?
Around
Oh,
a
brilliant.
couple of years now. I think it's stopped for maybe 2 or 3 years. prior to COVID.
COVID,
Yeah.
right? Okay.
But it used to be great crack like that.
Does that last for a weekend or what?
I think it might be a 1 day
It's
thing.
just a day. Well, what it used to be anyway. I'm not sure how they're running it.
Uh huh.
So far, the posters they have up anyway, the youth service say there's just on the 24th.
The music scene's it's great, and you must have missed it badly too, like everyone else.
Big time. Although
know.
it did allow me, I know me anyway, and I think Paul as well. I'm
Uh-huh.
not sure about Aaron, but it allowed us to get new skills that we hadn't got before. So
Okay.
for me, I was able to up my production skills to the point that I
Uh-huh.
now don't need to go to a studio anymore. I've got all that stuff, and even down to live streaming and stuff, like stuff that I didn't know how to do before.
Well, the whole lot of us is the same.
Yeah.
Not that I'm any expert at it, but it's something we didn't know nothing about it. And there was doors open that way.
Yeah.
Did you do live sessions?
I did.
Uh-huh.
It was really interesting because I think most musicians for the first time were all put in a level pegging. Didn't matter how big an artist you were.
That's a
You
good
were
point.
going out over phone speakers or out over laptop speakers. Didn't matter how good your equipment was.
That's a good point.
Everyone was brought
good.
down to the same level.
Uh huh. And how did you find that? Audience-wise, I know there was no audience here, but with listeners
It
watching.
was
too.
awfully isolated. It was very, very
Uh-huh.
strange. Finishing a song and it's
Everybody
silence
s-
in a room. And
Everybody says the same.
it was bizarre. And I know every session I did, I said it after every song. I just kind of went, this is weird hearing
strange.
nothing. Because even if you're playing in a pub,
No atmosphere.
doing covers or
no
whatever,
nothing.
people still, you hear some noise about the place, but I know for myself, I had my room set up kind of like your studio here,
Uh-huh.
where it was very isolated and nice dead sound, but
Aye,
it
that,
was
that age
odd.
is missing. What I mean is, did you get response from far? Did you find out? God, there's somebody listening, say just for example, America, or somebody
Yes.
listening in some parts of
It's-
the world, or
Yeah.
There were pages specifically for live performers on Facebook.
aye,
I joined one and I got maybe 200 likes from people all over the place, like,
aye,
because everyone was essentially doing the same
yeah.
thing.
But it's odd looking at your analytics sometimes, and for me especially, I looked there the other day to see how Roar by the Shore was getting on, and I've become very popular in Swindon.
Swindon,
I don't know where Swindon is.
England.
I had to
Aye.
Google to see where it was. It's near Oxford, but I had a big spike in plays in Swindon, and I have no idea how. And then you get these weird ones. Like I had somewhere in South Africa, there was a little spike at one point. I think Namibia as well. I had a little spike at one point. It's
brilliant, but-
odd looking at all these things
I know,
and
but,
wondering how did these people come across my music.
But it's good to know it.
Yeah.
At the same time,
Yeah.
it's good for the journey. Your last single, Mountains, it got over 100,000 streams
It
worldwide.
did.
Oh, that's a lot.
It is. It was the most I've had so far.
Almighty. That's amazing, and I think it shows what I'm saying. There's a future here for you, without a shadow of a doubt. But you keep pushing and pushing and keep sending them
That's
emails.
the game, yeah.
Definitely, without a doubt. The plans for the rest of the year, Kyle, and what would you like to be doing more so than what
Well,
will you
now
be
that
doing?
I've got the two lads with me, I definitely want to be out doing as much live as possible. We are actually involved in a thing. I'm not entirely sure how to pronounce it. It's much easier when you're typing this on social media. But it's Galaxies. It's being run by Garageland and RTE. They've picked, I think, 7 venues around the country. It's a youth music thing that they're streaming out all over the country. So they'll go to Letterkenny. It's been run on the RCC. Then they'll go to Cork to another venue, to Dublin to another venue, but it's going to be almost as if the Eurovision when they go to the different stages and that.
If you're in the RCC, you're under good hands.
Yeah, oh, for sure. But we've been asked to do one of the guest musician spots at that because it's based for, I think, 12 to 18-year-olds, that's really fantastic what they're doing. But we were asked to do one of the guest spots as the grown-up bands.
Oh, the mature acts. Very good. That's brilliant news.
Yeah.
Brilliant news. So if people want to get in touch, your social media platform, what are you on or what?
Facebook, Instagram. I recently joined TikTok. I've got quite good at TikTok in the past few months.
I can't get my head around
Oh,
it.
do you know what? I still don't understand, but I've apparently got good at it. I'm getting views.
My grandchildren are all in it, and you're going, I have no clue. Like, I just don't get it because anytime I watch a video on it, it's like 30 seconds where to go.
Yeah.
It's actually too fast for me. I'm just getting my head around Facebook. I've just got off Bebo, to be honest with you. But no, do you put your music on Spotify?
Yes,
Do you?
I do.
And what's your view on Spotify and them platforms?
I think you need to see them for what they are. A lot of musicians come into Spotify and all the streaming services thinking they're going to be the moneymaker.
Not in Spotify,
They're,
you know.
they're
right?
definitely not. I think
No.
Spotify, if you're in Ireland, is 0.0042 cents per stream. So I think you need to see Spotify as the same as Facebook or Instagram, and it's just a method of getting your music out to
Yeah.
people that you wouldn't have got it out to before.
Of course.
And then you get them in, and you hopefully sell them some stuff.
It's a double-edged sword, isn't it? It's a love-hate thing with a lot of people. I like it. I like it for finding something new.
Yes.
I love it for that, and that's the only thing. You know.
But I think that works the other way around as well. It helps us find new people to
well,
listen
see,
to our
this
music.
is it. I should have put it in and pay more, like.
That's
You know, it would be.
that's a big old battle.
Well, you know, it is, in fairness, and as an artist, like, it's alright for me saying it because I have nothing on it, but as an artist, you know, it can be a wee bit soul destroying. I've no doubt, you know what I mean, that you might have a million views or a million hits, whatever,
Yeah.
but that's not going to.
No, I
Rang
think I
your
worked it
pocket.
out before that you would need to have, I think it was around about 1 million before you'd cover the time and the cost of the recording.
Gee.
But that's
Oh,
why we
funny,
that's
sure.
why we play live.
We have
That's
to
why we
stay-
do merchandise.
Of
That's
course, we have to stay positive, and I'm just delighted that you came on and you shared your music with us. I really, really am.
We're
It's
delighted to
just
be here too.
It's an absolute pleasure having you in here because I feel something from your music. I get something, you know. You get a lot of artists, and you get. I'm not saying that, but you know, people deliver different things.
Yeah.
There's a uniqueness there in your sound. It really,
you.
really is, and that's important. You know, because I think it's important as a listener. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You don't want to be hearing the same old all the time. You know. But anyway, we'd love to get a final song if you don't mind.
yeah.
Um,
So we're gonna play Mountains, which was the last single.
yeah. Very good. How many songs have you written? Do you think?
Are we talking good ones or total?
Oh, say total. Say total.
Total over the years, probably hundreds.
Wow.
But you know, not many of them get out.
What's your process? Do you write down? Do you talk on your phone and something comes in, or
It depends.
Mhm.
Depends what's the song and you know whatever's happening.
Yep.
But sometimes you get an idea and it just floods out of you.
right?
Other times, for Mountains, for example, I spent maybe 8 months before I released that, just working on it. And in the end up, I got to the point where I had to ship it off to somebody else because I got it 90%, and I just kept pushing, and sometimes you can go too far.
It just wasn't landing completely
Yeah.
right. Yeah.
And thankfully, actually, Paul is now my 90% person. I'll send it to
Good
Paul,
man.
and Paul will either say to me, "Stop, quit while you're ahead."
It's good to do
You're
that. bud.
done, yeah.
It's good to do that because you're getting somebody else's
Yeah.
taking it, and that can add. Right. Well, we'll listen to Mountains.
Perfect.
Thank
Thanks.
you.
I did the mountains for you. You pass my window and I'll bribe you with a coffee to stay. You know I give my heart for that day. Give up my vices for you if you would agree to remain. The one I get to see every day. Nothing so fragile, I'll ride into battle. I won't need help from above, for I'm aggressing with my love. A mind that is agile, but starts to unravel. I know sometimes guilty of being aggressive with our love. Start a new chapter, mine's running faster. The words that I'll cry after, it's like I never loved before. Healed a heart that was fractured, like an angel I've captured. She's ripe for the rapture. I did the mountains for you. 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 Did the mountains for. Trying hard to kill your demons cause they're dragging you down. All the good ones left our hometowns. Tried to scream but then I realized I'm not making a sound. Yet you're still hearing me now. We're sinners and outcasts, a ship going steadfast. We don't need help from above, for we're regressing with our love. We're breaking all forecasts, our foes have been surpassed. I know sometimes guilty of being aggressive with our love. Start a new chapter, my mind's running faster. The words that I'll cry after, it's like I never loved before. Healed a heart that was fractured, like an angel I've captured. Drop the rapture. I did the mountains for you. I did the mornings for you. Tender mornings for you. Tender mornings for you. Tender mornings for you. I'll swim the oceans for you. Whatever you need me to do, babe, I'll do it for you. I tender mornings for you. I swim the oceans for you. Whatever you need me to do, babe, I'll do it for you. Tender mornings for you. Tender mornings for you. Tender mornings for you. Tender mornings for start a new chapter. Mind's running faster. The words that I'll cry after. It's like I never loved before. Heal the heart that was fractured. Like an angel I've captured. She's ripe for the rapture. I'd set our mornings for you.
Brilliant.
Thank you very
Absolutely
much.
Brilliant. We can get you on Spotify under Boy M5.
Boy M5, yeah.
And on the other social platforms
Yeah,
as
search Boy space M5.
well. I'm looking
any of
forward to it because I know Jimmy will play a track on Thursday night in Centre Stage.
Yeah.
And I'm really looking forward just to having a good listen. As I always say, when Jimmy's on, I can listen with good headphones and good music. I love doing that. You know,
Yeah.
sometimes you listen on the phone, you don't get the same kind of
100%,
quality, you know.
yeah.
So, listen, it's a pleasure, an absolute delight having you up.
Thanks so much for
Kyle,
having us.
Thank you so much. Kyle O'Neill, Paul Mooney, and Aaron McCallion from Boy M5, and that's what live music and the original artists and original music's all about. Do you play all your own when you're out, or do you do covers, or do you do your version of covers?
We've done one version of our own version of a cover recently, because we are releasing it soon. Should I tell them? What do you reckon? Should I tell them? It's an 80s cover. We'll give you that. It's
Brilliant.
coming out very, very soon.
So we're looking forward to it. Why not? It's great, and as I say, we wish you success. Thanks for calling up.
Thanks so much for having us.
Definitely keep in touch.
We
There you
will
have
do.
it, folks. Boy M5, and this is Mick Flannery and Susan O'Neill.
Talk it over.
After 9 o'clock on a Monday night. That is a brand new song from Podrick Jack, and Podrick was up with us a few years ago here in the Monday night session. The song's called Making Sand. It'll be released this Friday, and if you ever get a chance to go along and listen to him, he's an absolutely brilliant singer songwriter of dual language. He's from the islands himself. I think he's from the Iron Islands, and his father was is bilingual singer songwriter Barry Ronan, and Podrick he's a bilingual singer, and he writes some great stuff, amazing, both in Gaelic and in English, and a lot of influences, he said, down through the years, from James Taylor to the Eagles, to Van Morrison, to Shane McGowan. But if you ever get a chance, go along and see him. He's playing in Dublin at the end of May, Cobblestone in Dublin, and he'll be up around these parts fairly often, so keep an eye out from Podrick Jack on Highland Radio. Right, as to say, thanks indeed to our guest Aidan Laird. Thanks for your text, by the way, as well. Aidan says good to hear live music, and of course it is, it always is. And we welcome our next studio guest, Brian Hasson from Strabane. How are you?
Not too bad, Paul. How's yourself?
I'm good. Come on a wee bit.
Get closer to the mic. No problem.
Which one are we at? Tap at.
Which one are we on here?
That's it there.
That's it there. Okay.
Brilliant. Come here. Listen, hey, you've just released. You've released an album, but it's an acoustic album more.
It's back to basics.
Back to basics.
It's part of the Creative Artists Regeneration Program. The Arts Council gave money to myself. So I decided, instead of doing a full production, which I had done during lockdown, I'd released 8 singles. I decided to go back to basics and went to Eamon Stick Story.
Very good. Eamon, we know Eamon now.
Eamon, great head on his shoulders, and we did the album. And there's bits in it that could have been improved on. I said, no, leave it the way it is. Just leave it as a raw live album.
Of course.
Cleaned up the vocals and stuff.
Yeah.
So it's an eclectic mix of music, because we were going through the tracks one day, and we were saying the first one is Highwayman's like the Americana one. Then there's one Lonely, it's like James Taylor. One Night Lovers, like an Eagles song. There's one Looking in the Shadows, like Tom Waits. So there's a complete eclectic mix compared to the very first album, which I did, was all folk, and the Let's Dance album, which is released at the same time as Back to Basics, is full studio production.
Many albums have you released in your
This is my third album now.
This is your third album?
My third, that's it.
Well, very good. How do you find that experience, the recording, you know,
I
compared
hate I've tried a few times to set up a studio in the house. I have not the patience for the technical side of it.
No?
Definitely have not the patience.
I thought you would have been, you know, in fairness. I thought you could have, you'd have took that on yourself.
No, definitely not. I just something that when I've seen the young people using Apple computers and GarageBand programs, and they fly through it, and they come out with these fantastic arrangements. And there's me struggling. I just said, no, leave it. no, definitely not. I'll stick to the side of the microphone and let somebody else do the work.
I asked the other boys that were on there how it affected them. How did lockdown affect you musically?
Musically, it just wiped everything out. Prior to lockdown, I was doing a lot of all my gigs. I was doing that stage were support gigs. So I did in a few years 30 support dates to Bagatelle, a few support dates to Smokey. I'd done a few with Paul Brady. I'd got my foot in the doorway as a support artist, and I had venues then asking about would I come back and do a concert myself, and all the momentum that had built up just went bang. Right. Now, I didn't do a lot of playing during lockdown because, as I say, I was in a position that I was lucky that I had other source of income, so therefore I didn't want to be streaming stuff or playing and taking money off these guys that were dependent on it. So I didn't do anything. But as I say, the Arts Council I was very lucky that they gave me money at the very start of lockdown, and then Derry and Strabane District Council gave me money halfway through it, and then the Arts Council gave me money at the end again. But they make you jump through hoops. But at this stage, thankfully, I'm ticking all the boxes with stuff that I've done and stuff that I've done.
Well, that's good. Well, I suppose they have to too at the same time. But you know, and you're like, it was genuine what you were going for. You know, not to say you were.
But the biggest part was going back to playing live again. I mean, my first gig back was in Vicar Street in Dublin, opening for Smokey. That was in the end of February, and all of a sudden you're going okay, back to this. And I mean, Vicar Street's a great venue to play.
You know, you've been behind the scenes. I love behind the scenes because anytime I'm behind the scenes of Aslan's there, I'm there, and I love that theatre, the atmosphere. The Vicar Street and the Olympia would be my two favourite.
My Vicar Street would definitely be up there. Ulster Hall.
Well, I've never been in Ulster Hall.
Great live venue, because again, audience are allowed to bring the drink in with them, and if you don't get them the first song, you're going to get abuse. It's like Vicar Street. When you're right on, when Vicar Street, you're on the edge and you're looking, you can hear people talking. It's great.
It's a brilliant venue. I just love the whole. There's nights I've been at and I look round more than I look at the band. You know, just to see the
Baker Street's got a fantastic green room upstairs as well.
I know, I've been on.
Yeah.
Great fridges in it full of beer.
They are.
I've been up there and they take a beer, but go on ahead
Oh,
there.
no, I don't take one.
Have you got Guinness? I have Guinness here, surely.
It's one of the better ones that I have to say.
They have.
They have.
Fairness, they
It's
do have a great
superb.
green room. But listen, we'll get a piece of music first,
Okay.
Brian, if you don't mind. So first up first.
I'm going to do Highwayman. This is like American country, but this has been number one in the downtown charts. Not my version, but J.P. McCauley, Cash Returns.
Is this your own song?
This is my own song.
And JP uses it too, does he?
JP asked me could he record it.
Oh, very good.
He did a version. Now I'm doing the full version because there's wee bits left out that JP didn't include to shorten it. But I'll do the full version. So it's called Highwayman. It's definitely not based on life experience or anything, because I'm definitely.
No, you weren't a highwayman.
I don't think so. I'm
No.
a gangster, but not a highwayman.
I don't remember you being a highwayman, in fairness.
So this is called Highwayman.
When you're ready.
I'm a highwayman, running free, living where I wanna be. I will steal your silver, I will steal your gold, I'll even steal your woman's heart if the truth be told. I'm a highwayman, on the roads above the hills, with the rivers ford, I'll seek my thrills. And if you heed my warning and give me what I ask, you can have your freedom and I'll not take you to task. I'm a highwayman, born and raised where the lands are wildest, where I learnt my trade. Was an orphan boy at 14 years with a steed and a trusty blade, a highwayman. I'm a highwayman, I'm a highwayman, I'm a highwayman, I'm a highwayman. On the 8th of June, it's like a summer's day, I saw a coach come away. On the road I waited, just around the bend, shouting, stand and deliver, or else you'll meet your end. I'm a highwayman. The horses stilled at the coachman's words, the stage came to a halt. As 4 armed men with pistol bright, I lit and fired their shots at this highwayman. I'm a highwayman, I'm a highwayman, I'm a highwayman, I'm a highwayman. Eyes closed on the clay, these final words I did say. Even when I'm buried, dead and gone before, on the wildest, darkest nights, my ghost will stalk your door. I'm a highwayman, I'm a highwayman, I'm a highwayman, I'm a highwayman, I'm a highwayman.
Yeah, brilliant. I can see why JP would have took that song. I can hear him doing it.
Oh, he did
actually.
a great version of it. It really is a good version of it now.
And do you know, I think I've heard him doing it. And
He did it the night he was in the alley because when I was there, not this last time, first time he was in the alley, and he announced that the song got into myself.
I've seen his. It's great to see him back up with a big list of gigs and stuff he's doing. You know, because it's an amazing show. You know, absolutely amazing
You
show.
saw him at the Strabane Unplugged.
No, I wasn't there that night.
Oh, you weren't there that night he was on?
Sir, I see that night I was there was the Friday night.
Oh, yes.
I thought it was the one show, two nights. Or not, I would have went the 2 nights because Adam Dolan was on.
Dolan was on.
And Who else? JP was on.
JP McCulley, Shiona Lafferty was on.
Aye.
Was she there the night you were on?
No. There was
The three fivers.
Oh, they were. That was good. That was very good. I have to say now.
Clinically rehearsed to death.
Well, you know, I mean, about 2 minutes before you're on stage, Bobby landed on.
Terry McCaffrey. 1 minute, Bobby was 5 minutes before we due to go on.
That was good. Now, that was an amazing night. That was in the Alley Theatre in Strabane. But see, Unplugged. Revisited. Which you were a founding member of.
Myself and Ian McGowan set it back in 2003, and back then the problem was there was no place for young people to play or try and get their foot on the ladder. So we said we need to come up with something. Ian approached me at the venue, and I had run a thing previously called Smacks Band Musicians Art of Collective, where he got 12 people to record tracks and released an album, and then I'd run a kind of unplugged night in Lifford with Marion Bradfield, Mickey Joe Hart.
Marion Bradfield. She's a great singer.
Mickey Joe Hart. So this is prior to 2003. Mickey Joe, Terry McCaffrey, myself. I'm trying to think there's a girl from there as well, but it was again about 6-8 artists. So when Ian came to me and I said, look, this is what the format of it. We'll get young artists, experienced artists on the start, a young artist. And it ran for, when I ran it with Ian for I think it was 2 or 3 years. And then we stepped down and let the committee run it. But they ended up getting like Paul Brady to play, Brian Houston played it, Henry McCullough.
Henry McCullough played
it twice. Pat, Mama's Boys,
Pat McManus.
He played it. There was a Canadian band called the Paperboys, and they were just amazing. They were something else.
Wow.
So they'd all these international acts playing it. Plus you had Adam Dolan playing as a 16-year-old, Shauna Ford playing as a 14-year-old.
Yes.
I had my son playing the guitar with me as a 14-year-old.
Wow.
And put me to shame.
Oh, of course
Better
they would.
guitarist than I'll ever be.
That for anybody that gets a chance to go along, what was it again? £6 was it?
£6.
You know us, you would have paid 26. But the talent was just, it was coming on bucket loads. It was just amazing.
I mean, a lot of these acts have been on with yourself as well.
You know, and this is, but there's a new breed in the
next generation.
The Macbeth girls.
Yes.
The harmonies were just wow. I was like, just
sibling harmony. I mean, that reminds the Volsniffs and the Beach Boys. Sibling
absolutely. And then, of course, Paul Tully and at the top of it off. And Gav Kelly was amazing. Brilliant.
I have to say, Paul's version of Raglan Road.
Oh, something else.
That was definitely. That was one of those moments.
One of them moments is right. It was a great night, and as I say, here's to many more. Yeah. We're just looking for as many nights to get it. And then I was there last Thursday night before last. The Seeger Sessions revisited. I see they're doing the show in the Abbey in Donegal Town.
Kelly's in Port Rush.
Kelly's in Port Rush, but they one in Donegal Town. I think it's a Sunday afternoon. I'll try and find out before we leave. Yeah. But if you get a chance, you see it. The Seeger Sessions revisited. I never heard anything like it.
Is it 14 musicians on stage?
I counted 13 that night. In the middle, you know, my counting would be best.
I know it's a big number, but there's some great musicians on it.
And you know, it opens the doors because my daughter Paula was along with me, and she didn't know who Pete Seeger was. I knew a wee bit about Pete Seeger. Didn't know that much. But I took an interest from Springsteen. Done the tour. And I was chatting to a couple of people then. We're at that gig, and they had been at the Springsteen one too. You know, so there was a great. It was just amazing, absolutely. So if you get a chance, the Seeger Sessions revisited.
We actually did the one night at the Seeger Session myself, Anthony McGarrigle, Gareth Doherty. There were about 10 of us in the golf club one night for Gareth's 40th birthday. And there was people asking us about doing it. We said, no, one night only.
Was it rehearsed or?
Oh, we'd rehearsed. We'd rehearsed. Well, we did rehearse. We did.
The night you played was a rehearsal.
No. We definitely did rehearse about 3 or 4 nights. No, but that was it. Just as long as we knew an idea of what we were doing.
It's great, but you know, as I say, and I'd be encouraged so much when I see young people and mature artists as well. The album, Brian. Who does the cover work for you?
Myself.
You did it yourself?
I did that myself. I had a photograph and I've got one of these programs and messed about with it, and I just thought that looks okay. That seems to be pop-ups.
That's great. Did you send this away then or what?
I sent the Unity CD in Scotland. Edinburgh did it for me, or Glasgow.
It's very, very good. I love
it's
that.
called an Eco Pack, so it's environmentally friendly. It's unlike the Tales from Home one. There's all plastic.
Oh, there's Joe said to show it to camera. Just in case if you're watching us live. Yeah. Where's it available, Brad?
It's available from all digital platforms. Plus, if anybody contacts me and wants a hard copy, I can get them a hard copy as well. I have a few of them.
There you go.
Because I'm not too sure. My next gig will be. I was checking to see what support. I'm hoping. I'm in negotiations, and if I do get it, it'll be I lost my Mel to May gig because I was due to that before lockdown, and that was the one with the Millennium Forum. Then changed from a single date to a tour, and then it's the record company and the management.
They took over.
So I was due to open, so I lost that one, but I went to the concert. It was a tremendous concert.
I was talking to people around it. Just
and even Niall McNamee, the guy was on there.
who was on before?
Niall McNamee, who's your boyfriend.
Oh,
He's,
your
on, he's
boyfriend?
on the album. He's on the album.
That's right.
Tremendous.
Where's he from? Dublin?
He's from Dundalk or Drogheda or something.
aye.
Is
Very good.
So I'm hoping there's a thing called Dire Straits Legacy coming up. There's a tour and it features Trevor Horn and people like that.
Well,
So depending on somebody that high profile, I'll probably be pushed aside again. But at the minute, it's possible they're doing it.
but you're like it's
I don't mind because
No.
I've been lucky. I mean, over the years, the opportunities I've been given.
Aye. Seeing this, this current album, the Back
Yes.
to Basics album. I see you have a wee note at the bottom in memory of Liam Riley. Excuse
Yes.
me, a great friend and mentor.
Yes.
You work with Liam Riley, of course, with Bagatelle, supporting and stuff like that. But you got to know him fairly well.
I got to know him and got to meet him in the 90s at a Nimrose songwriting workshop. And you're working with different people. I was working with a girl called Tara Burden on the first day. We had a song written in about an hour. Had
Aye.
it, their studio setups, we recorded it. So I was free in the afternoon. Came downstairs and I thought I'll go and get a drink. Sit at the bar and Liam came over.
Aye.
And knew him from Bagatelle, so we sat
Course.
down. And every day myself and Liam met up after that. So
Aye.
that was back in 98, 99.
Uh-huh.
So then, in about 6-7 years ago, they were playing in Vicar Street in Dublin, and it was the Whistling Donkeys were due to open from. But I think it was one of the people, one of the members of Whistling Donkeys, father or mother wasn't well, so
Okay.
they had to pull out on the Thursday night. The gig was on the Friday,
Aye.
and thankfully Joe Galler phoned me and asked, "Brian, can you do a gig? And where is it? In Vicar Street?" I had no problem.
Of
So I
course.
went down and opened for Bagatelle, but it went down that well that Jim McCullen and Liam both asked, "Can you get Brian to do our theatre work?"
Very good.
And it ended
Nice one.
it was so I ended up getting all that. So I ended up, as I say, playing all the theatres and
Aye.
even something in the hotel. But to get playing the likes of Vicar Street again, Ulster Hall again, Millennium Forum, all the great venues. I mean, I've been very lucky. So as a result, Liam then would have been listening to what I was doing, and
Aye.
the last gig that I did prior to lockdown was in either December or January, just before January 2000.
Aye.
When was the lockdown? 2020.
March. Aye.
So probably January, February 2020. And it's actually that photograph on the cover of this dance, if you open it up.
Yeah.
That's the Ulster Hall. And there was a curtain at the side of the stage because they had a fashion show
Oh,
the night before.
aye,
And I
aye.
hadn't realised Liam was sitting behind it, listening to it. And I come off the stage and I'd played a song called Two Young Lovers. And he said to me, he says, "Brian, that's what you call a song." He says, "That is it."
Class.
So it's on both albums. Only song that's duplicated because there's a studio production, and Liam would have been a big Tom Waits fan, Bruce Springsteen fan, and
Aye.
that this is something. Some people say it definitely sounds Springsteenish. So I was lucky because he would tell me what songs he liked. I mean, even some of the Irish. I mean, as you know yourself, Liam wrote all the Bagatelle stuff, but he also wrote stuff like Boston Road, Rose, Flight of Earls. He was just an absolutely amazing.
I always maintain, and I've always said, he was very underrated
He
in
was.
this country. I just thought he was. I don't know what.
There was at one stage the guy that managed Elton John wanted to sign Liam Riley and put the two of them on the same bill to tour.
Wow.
Whatever happened, Liam quite often would have headed off to America or headed to Savannah or headed to. I did hear a story about him going out to that program they watched about the catching the crabs and the fish off Canadian coast, deadliest catch.
As you do.
I did hear a story that he actually did do a season doing that.
Today.
No, I don't know if it's true.
Aye,
It wouldn't surprise me.
Aye.
But it's an absolute gentleman. After he came off a gig, he sat down and did the Times crosswords.
Very good.
That's what he loved doing. Sitting down with a glass of wine and doing it.
Man.
And when he's finished, then you could talk to him, but don't talk to him before it. No. So that's why I say
Liam Riley.
he was fantastic, and this track's on both albums, the studio version plus the acoustic version, because Liam only heard the acoustic version. So I think that'll be the next one I'll do.
Go on
that
ahead.
day. It's called Two Young Lovers, and it's basically looking back. I met my wife in my early 20s, and you're young then, and you're looking back and thinking, God, we've made it this far. So it's basically just looking back and thinking, being thankful that
Good man.
you're still together. So it's called Two Young Lovers. Do you remember the sun was on the rise?
kids in love, trying to make the moment last. The dawn breaking above, we were two young lovers, blinded by the light. Two young lovers, together in the night. Two young lovers, with so much to say. Two young lovers, trying to find our way. Do you remember holding my hand? We talked of dreams and plans and schemes. The sun was on the land, not really knowing that we really cared. The only thing that mattered was the loving that we shared. We were two young lovers, blinded by the light. Two young lovers, together in the night. Two young lovers, with so much to say. Two young lovers, trying to find our way. Those two young lovers from so long ago. Those two young lovers, little did we know that those two young lovers, after all these years, still be together. We'll still be here. Two young lovers, blinded by the light. Two young lovers, together in the night. Two young lovers, with so much to say. Two young lovers, I remember those nights. I remember those days. Two young lovers.
Yeah. Brilliant. I love that. Actually love that. Are you happier with the acoustic version or what? Equally?
Equally because obviously the acoustic's more intimate, and the studio version was done with Peter Doherty, Camera 45 Peter Doherty, and I let him give me a free range. So there's guitars and there's I'm not too sure who the saxophonist is because he got somebody to do saxophone, so it's not Kitty Aniston, but I was looking for the Springsteen sound type of thing, and it really gets there.
You know, in fairness, you're you're on the ball there.
Yeah.
What I like about that is you come away from. I like songs when you come away from actually singing and we awarded. You know what I mean? There's probably a term for it when you speak of it, and I love that. That's a crack. Many songs do you think you've written?
Yeah, and you asked him stage, you were asking the boys, and he said the same thing, hundreds, but none of them weren't good. And it probably would be the same because, well, when I played with Freeway, going back to my teens, that was Freddie Simple, myself, Smiler McColgan, and Ronnie Wiley.
Freddie was on that night too.
Freddie was on that night too.
He was something else too in the guitar.
Freddie in his teens was just an incredible guitarist. So I was writing stuff then, and I don't think none of the tracks, because a lot of these tracks, some of those tracks on this album, Back to Basics, date from the 80s. I mean, some dated way back. We didn't do any of the stuff from the 70s. But back then we were very close as well. The Playboys heard the stuff, and Charlie Field played it for Sean, somebody who managed the Buckley band, and then the next thing was played for Shea Healy. He wanted us to put 2 tracks down on vinyl. There was nothing else. Called Something Different, and there was bands that were doing their own material and hadn't recorded. And the next thing was there was somebody contacted about taking over management from Jared McColgan and taking us to Bag It In. And the Bag It In was, that was for everybody was playing.
That's right.
But we had been we were naive. We'd have been torn apart by the music industry. So
I know what you're saying. Like a lot of people were like.
So there were songs from that era. There's songs in that the Lonely's written in 1985. You have my father died, and I was trying to think about how somebody must feel if they've lost their partner, and I wrote Lonely back in '85. So this was basically getting tracks that it had just rounding them up and putting them on an album. So it was great to get that done. So I would say I honestly couldn't put a figure on it, because I know at the minute I'm working on about that gig the other night. I was in the house then the next day thinking, right, there's 4 or 5 songs I need to finish them writing.
What brings a song on, do you? You know,
Could be, I mean, the likes of Two Young Lovers came from that. Messing about in the guitar. Highwayman was just, they sounded like a Americana song. I let the guitar, and each guitar has different sound to it or different feel to it. So I mean, there's some tracks are blues. There's another couple of tracks are like jazz. There's a mixture of everything.
what's your favourite sort of genre?
What is my favourite? I always was a Springsteen fan. Springsteen and the Police were the big bands.
Do you like the Police?
I like the Police, but at the same time, I was also listening to stuff like Sky, which was 2 classical guitarists. Even though I don't obviously I'm a mediocre guitar,
I know.
but I was listening to stuff like that. I mean, Strange were playing like Flannery and Susan O'Neill. I bought that vinyl 2 weekends ago.
Did you?
I'm buying vinyl again.
You were telling me
That's
that
it, I'm
last
buying
year.
vinyl. I bought that vinyl 2 weekends ago. Prior to that, I bought Jack Antonoff. And the reason I bought Jack Antonoff was because I saw a video of this song and I thought, I like that song, and looked to see who the acoustic guitarist was playing with this young fella, Bruce Springsteen. He's from this guy from New Jersey, but this guy's written for lots of people in the States. And the other night, it might have been the night I came back from the Strabane Unplugged, they came in and put a documentary on, and there was a guy called Jacob Collier. I don't know if you heard of him.
No.
He's working with Herbie Hancock, I mean, top jazz musician. This guy's harmonies, I have never heard anything like. He said something which you can't get on the piano or guitar because they're half notes and quarter notes.
What do you call him?
Jacob Collier. And he was a YouTube sensation. His first 5 albums have all won the Grammys.
What? Was he a young fella?
He'd been in his early 20s now. He's from his first album when he was 16, 17, but his harmonies are just absolutely amazing. And again, just that's with modern technology. They will sit in the house, work and stuff, and that's what he did. But he also plays piano, guitar, bass, everything. And I mean, not just plays them. I mean, plays them to an exceptional level.
Some people are just amazing.
This guy.
Did you watch Springsteen's Letter to You?
I did. I did.
Something else, wasn't it?
Very, very good. So that was another 2 vinyls I bought about the Western Star.
Western Star, right.
And then the one after it. Some great tracks in it. That is the old E Street band. That's me.
It was, but I loved the whole thing about it. I just loved the whole delivery of Springsteen's just something else, like you know. What I mean?
I mean, I read his autobiography. Started reading a lot of music books. The Horselips one, the Springsteen, the Bowie, and what amazed me was he knew himself that he said I wasn't a great guitarist and I wasn't a great vocalist, but I watched how the best performers performed, and he said I learned how to perform. I learned how to master being on stage.
But he has learned it well.
He has,
because you heard him in them ones from New York where he's doing, you know, that
from the Broadway.
And he has the audiences. I have it. I put it on the car there, and he takes you on that journey, even talking
about it.
You know,
wow. And that's one of the important things for young musicians. If you're writing songs, if you can tell the story behind it so people can relate to it, it makes a big difference.
There's a while. Excuse me. But one of the things I've noticed with some bands, and I've noticed down through the years, you see them come up here and they haven't got between the songs. That's equally as important. Equally as important to keep the audience on your side, you know.
I mean, if you're playing pubs, it's very difficult because people are talking. But if you're doing the likes of support work, I learned very quickly. Keep the audience and interact with the audience, get them involved, get them to laugh. And the other in the alley when I was doing the hour and a half, I told the stories behind every song. I talked about every song. And it really is essential.
It is. That excuse me. That's album Tales from Home. I love the photograph, and I was just looking at it, and that's up the River Mourne, like.
I took the photographs as well. I did. That was one. I used to go out walk before I got my hip done. I was out walking, and there was one morning there was mist.
It's an early morning, just there.
And I took the phone out and photographed it. The one on the inside then is Murlock, I think.
It does.
And the one in the back is Glenveigh.
Glenveigh.
And on the back, on the outside back cover.
Oh, sorry, beg your pardon.
Outside back cover.
Oh, here, it is Glenveigh. Of course, it is beautiful.
So So again, and on the Let's Dance, the photograph in the front of it, my son took that in the alley. I was opening for Drifters or Bagatelle, and he took a good camera and took it. So I've used that for quite it's a decent looking photograph.
I know, it's a good photograph.
It hides the ears.
How many guitars have you?
I have.
Is it an illness now? Is it?
Well, two of these are handmade by a guy called Alan Carson. Alan Carson did the templates for the Loudons, for George Loudon for the S series. So he would make whatever wood he got his hand on. He'd make a guitar, and one of the firemen brought in a guitar one day, and so I was going to get a Loudon, but I decided to go up and see Alan Carson instead.
Where's he based, Brian?
He's in Lisburn. Lisburn, how to think where he was. So he had made this out of mahogany fireplace.
Wow, just beautiful.
So he made this, and I just thought I loved the tone of it. And then, as you do, I bought another one off him, which was spruce and beech. So then I have my Takamine, and then I have my Blue Ridge I got in America, and then I have my Echo, which is my first one. I have an Ibanez bass, and then the young fella plays electric guitars. So there's 2 or 3 electrics.
You play electric, do you yourself?
I used to. That was all at the start. That's all I played. I remember going to see Freddie White.
Yeah,
Freddie White used to play an Ibanez and play, and I used to love that with a bit of chorus and a bit of. And I used to try and do the Freddie White stuff, Christmas in Cape Town, and all the stuff Martha that he was doing. Obviously couldn't.
No, I know.
Mediocre guitars, but I did was electric at the start, and strange. Even listening to stuff, I would listen to the likes of Jeff Buckley. I mean, he does the one-man show on electric guitar as well. So at time, I'm tempted because everybody's gone now to this direction, the acoustic guitars.
There.
So I'm tempted to experiment to see what go back and come. And then with the advent of the loop station, you can record your. I mean, there's some. I don't know if you had David Kerrigan on here yet.
David's up surely a couple of times.
Oh no. My guitars are broken. When I see David Kerrigan play, I realise my guitars are broken. They don't play like that.
David's something else, eh?
He is,
legend.
and he just plays everything. He was playing the other night, and he was asking for a request, and I said, "Look, any chance of playing Dire Straits, either Brothers in Arms or Telegraph Road?" And he went, "He said Telegraph Road's about 14 minutes long." I said, "Well," they played it.
He did.
All 14 minutes of it.
Very few do that.
Very few can do it. No, he's exceptional. He is exceptional.
Final song for us, Brian.
Final song. This is called "Hey Pretty Lady," and there's it's off the Let's Dance album, and it's the second in the series of 4 singles released at one stage. One was called "Watching a Smile," then "Hey Pretty Lady," then "It Must Be Love," and "After Midnight," which was basically you see somebody smiling, back in our days in the disco or wherever it was, and that smile has got you hooked. Then you have to do what the young people don't do nowadays. You had to walk across the floor and ask the girl to go out. You hope that you got it right, otherwise you had to do the walk of shame back to your mates. And so
I've done that once in my life. That was the hardest thing to do. It's Pat's whole Strabane. Never again in my life.
Oh, so Pat's was terrible because the boys at one side and the girls were the other.
It's awful.
So now they just text each other. They make it so easy. I mean, if you get turned down the phone, so you just delete it. Nobody knows.
The thought of walking back, and thank God I didn't. I would have walked on out the door. I'd have done it. But as you say it different now.
Or if you go over and somebody says no, you think, well, you ask somebody beside them, because if you get 2 no's, that's even worse. Or if you get 3 no's. But this is "Hey Pretty Lady," so this is after you've been hooked with a smile, you've decided to take the gamble and do the walk across and ask her. So this is called "Hey Pretty Lady."
Brilliant.
And again, it's done American style, because I was listening to a bit of John Prine at the time, and I thought, this sounded.
Hey pretty lady, will you be my girl? Hey pretty lady, will you be my girl? I've been watching you all night in this faded barroom light. Now I hope the time is right. So hey pretty lady, will you be my girl? Hey pretty lady, will you be my girl? Hey pretty lady, will you be my girl? I'm not a man of many words, and this loving leaves me quite perturbed. Hope you don't find what I say absurd. So hey pretty lady, will you be my girl? know that you've been hurt before, seen your heart cast aside and shattered on the floor. And I know there's no right time to restart. I've also been on either side of a broken heart. So hey pretty lady, will you be my girl? Hey pretty lady, will you be my girl? I know that we'll have highs and lows, and that's just how loving goes. Where to lead us no one knows. So hey pretty lady, will you be my girl? Oh, oh, I'll sing a song for you, one to pick you up and chase away the blue. And for you, well, I'll do anything, 'cause if you give my love a chance, who knows the joy it'll bring. So hey pretty lady, will you be my girl? Hey pretty lady, will you be my girl? Hey pretty lady, will you be my girl?
Brilliant. Brilliant. I'm on that wee journey as you're talking and you're telling the story. It's a great story there, isn't there? You feel that?
I remember years ago, we were talking about my dad's life, and he was talking about music, and he was a Macon Clancy man, and he always said,
So was I loved them.
and he said a song has to tell a story. And he came in one day, he said, I heard a song. He said, I don't know what you call the guy that sang it. He says, something Steen. He says, about growing up in America, living beside a river. I said, The River by Bruce Springsteen.
The River.
And I had just learned it. I said, is this one? And he was impressed that I actually learned it.
Very good.
He says, that's the song. He says, it tells a story.
100%. Funny you're talking about Megan McClancy. I was listening to Tommy Megan yesterday, put him on System Hub, and I got into the mood, you know, and like Tommy Megan and Clancy together were just amazing, but individually, they were just something else. But we miss people like that, you know, we miss them a lot. Brian, the music's available where? All platforms,
all
you should
platforms,
say.
and there's hard copies. If you want to contact me, Messenger, Facebook.
You're on Facebook.
I'm on Facebook.
Brian Hasson Music.
Brian Hasson Music. Either one will get me.
Aye.
I'm on Twitter.
Aye.
Brian Hasson 7, I think it is. And I think I'm on Instagram. Just set that up this evening there. I think it's Brian Hasson 7 as well. That's what I thought.
Somebody said to me, I couldn't tell you what I'm on. Couldn't tell you. But where are you out next playing?
Actually, I don't know. So I'm away for Clarity for a few days now. Switch off. Myself and Maura heading down. So I'm hoping that if these gigs materialise, maybe something in June.
Good.
Maybe something in June. So.
But the good thing about it is you're at a stage in life you're not under pressure.
I'm not chasing.
No.
If there's any, the likes of the cultural centre in Letterkenny would be something I'd love to do. Or what I've applied to do, first time I ever applied to do Cambridge Folk Festival, and the email appeared in my inbox the other day, and I thought because I'd always thought about doing it. No, you mightn't get accepted, but something like that I'd love to do. I'd love just to, as a result of the first album, I went over and played Celtic Connections in the Royal Glasgow Concert Hall. I went over and did a gig over there. So.
Hey, nothing ventured, nothing gained, Brian. Let me tell you,
it's been a great journey.
It's been a great journey.
And listen, St. Pat's Hall and the Chancy DJs used to be there.
Oh, jeez, there's some Chancy DJs in. That's another story for another day. One nearly blown up in 1977, 76,
There's a DJ flew across the stage.
Jeez, that was a night time. Nearly killed.
He's sitting opposite me now.
So
I was there that night.
I nearly killed. This thing blew up. Microphone. Shit.
There, so the double deck.
Oh, it was
all
awful.
took off across the stage.
Awful. First disco we got the ask to do, hey, we got a booking with no gear. So we said, once we got the booking, we went, we need to look about gear, wouldn't we? You know what I mean? But anyway, that's all about. I'll keep that for the autobiography. If I tell you any more, you'll not buy it. Brian, come here, it's been a pleasure.
Thank you
very
Paul,
much indeed.
Thank you very much.
Really enjoyed that.
Thank
and
you
as I say, I'm listening through this and headphones, and the quality is just amazing. It's all up and stream, isn't it, Joe? Whatever
Thank you very much,
know.
Folks. Much
and as I say, you'll
thanks
come
to
back
Paul
up.
McDevitt and Highland Radio for having me.
You're more than welcome, and say the door's open, come up anytime.
Thank you, sir.
And if it's not open, there's a key under the mat. So, Brian Haston, everybody, quick ad break. Thank you very much.
Since she got